Hello everyone, Jarrell from Sungrand here, developer of the Silver Falls games. I just recorded a 10-minute video uh, that I don't think would be a good idea to post, and that is because it is very important to maintain a professional mentality and attitude when you are a public figure, but I am extremely frustrated because I am in a situation where I have developed my upcoming products, my games for the Nintendo Switch using Unity 2019, which is a very stable, functional, and performant game engine. Unfortunately, I'm in a position where I now am forced to use Unity 2022, and I don't have any other options. I'm not allowed to use the older versions of Unity, and all of my games were made with older versions of Unity 2019. Unfortunately, I now have to use the newest versions of Unity 2022 for reasons that you can probably put together regarding the situation that occurred with Unity earlier this year, which means that all of my games that was about to launch on the Switch are now broken because I've had to switch game engines mid-production, which you should never do. You should never switch game engines mid-production. But the newest versions of Unity are very different from Unity 2019, and unfortunately they are significantly worse in terms of performance. They get about 50 to 75% of the frame rate as Unity 2019, and there are numerous issues with the game engine that are extremely broken. For example, having any grass on your terrain is broken, causes the game engine to crash. Running the game in the editor in Unity 2022 causes the game to crash. And if you have any bugs or issues with your code in previous versions of Unity and in any other game engine, if you had any issues, the game engine would tell you where the issues were and it would point them out, and then you would be able to fix those issues. But with Unity 2022, it will crash, which means it will not point to those issues and you won't be able to fix them. Now, I'm not going to post the previous video that I posted because I got a little upset. It's been a very trying week for me, and it is now a very late night. It's about 1 a.m. and I am trying to get my games functional and submitted, and I'm at a point where I am just extremely frustrated. I'm frustrated because we are at a point in our industry where money and the blind grab for money and greed is driving us towards a position where we have the opportunity to have better tools to make a better industry, and this blind grab for money is ruining that, and we're being forced and strong-armed into using a worse version of the Unity game engine. I don't understand all of the reasoning and logic behind it. I just understand that I am no longer allowed to use Unity 2019, which was the last really functional version of Unity. I now have to find some way to make my games work in Unity 2022. There's going to be a lot of things that are broken, such as terrain grass causing the game to crash. I no longer have access to volumetric lighting because that also causes the engine to crash. So I'm making this video to let you know that I'm going to need a little more time to work on my games because I now have to come up with new solutions for a very broken game engine that is now even more broken. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I want to reach out and let other developers know that if you are having frustrations, you're not the only one. And for people out there who are wondering why games are coming out and they're so broken, maybe it's not necessarily the developer's fault. There is significant issues with our game engine, especially Unity, and this is so frustrating off the back of everything that we've experienced earlier this year. I've still tried to place my trust in Unity, and I thought being forced to move to the newer versions, I thought, maybe it'll be all right, maybe it'll be okay. People, maybe the people that are working on Unity, they've improved it, and it'll be much better, but unfortunately, it's significantly worse. I cannot even run my games in the Unity editor because they crash as soon as I close the games, or as soon as I end the game, and then I have to open the editor again. I can no longer fix issues in the code because Unity crashes if there are any issues in the code, so I can't even pinpoint where those issues are. So I am at a point where I am experiencing a severe degree of frustration and anger. This is what it looks like when I'm extremely angry. I have lost my temper, and this is what it looks like. I am beside myself. I do not know what I'm supposed to do for future development because this is not tenable. And unfortunately, I trusted Unity to make a workable, sustainable, usable engine, and that trust was misplaced. I'm often contacted by people who want advice on game development, getting into game development, getting into the industry, and this is my advice to you. Do not use the Unity game engine. They cannot be trusted, and at this point, the engine just gets worse and worse. With each new version of Unity, it is significantly worse, significantly less usable, and I can only hope that whatever version of Unity that we have for the new hardware, the new console, the new generation that Nintendo has in store for us, I can only hope that those versions of Unity work well. Because unfortunately I trusted them, and I've got about 15 games in the pipeline right now, 6 are in active development, and they were all made in Unity, and I cannot just switch to a different game engine, which means I am still relying on Unity to produce a functional, workable product. I am not alone in this. There are going to be so many other developers out there, and I just want to let all of you know, you are not alone. There's so many other developers out there struggling with this. So for my audience, for my supporters, I'm going to have to ask you guys for a little bit more patience. And unfortunately, I think my upcoming games are just going to be a little bit worse because I can no longer use the best version of Unity. Unfortunately, was 2019. It was very functional and performant, and I now have to find a way to make my games work with a significantly worse version of Unity. I cannot even run my games on the computer. I cannot even hit the run button to test them and develop them. So things are going to be significantly slower, things are going to be significantly worse. I'm only asking you to be patient and understanding, and I'm going to still try to do my best. But this is a video that I wanted to create to share with all of you out there in the games industry, is that this is the path we're on. Unfortunately, Unity has been driven by greed and a blind grab for money, and it's resulted in a product that is broken. It's frustrating. It's betrayed the trust of thousands upon thousands of developers all over the world, not just me, but thousands and thousands of developers who were counting on Unity, who have invested thousands and thousands of hours of their lives into using Unity, into learning Unity, and we were all betrayed. And unfortunately, we're all going to have to live with the consequences of that. I'm going to have to live with the consequences of that because I've put thousands of hours of my life into developing my games with this engine. And I bet on a losing horse. I believe that the Switch may be the last console I'll be using the Unity game engine for. Whatever console Nintendo has next, I will be looking for a new game engine. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves.